Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the St. John Board of Stormwater Management meeting for the St. John, Town of St. John for Wednesday, October 18th at 6:02 p.m. So I'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody's ahead of me. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You were wondering, that means moving on.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ken Gambala is absent. Vanessa Markle,
Present.
Robert Zaney,
Present.
Brian Blazak,
Present.
Joe Wizawati,
Present.
Bob Voice.
Here. Okay, thank you. We have the minutes from our September 20th meeting. What is the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to pass the meeting minutes of September 20th.
Okay, I second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The minutes are passed. Okay, I'll open it up to public comment. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. Is there any old business that we need to discuss? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. And I see under new business, we have a proposal for a GIS Atlas update for actually water, sanitary, sewer, and storm sewer. There is a task order, as the board had a chance to take a look at it. It's a task order number 23-04 for Robinson Engineering for the GIS Atlas updates.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes,
So
please.
this was discussed last night at the sanitary districts meeting. They approved the update for the GIS. The water board was going to consider it, however, they didn't have a quorum, so they couldn't meet. So we will try to do that again on the 26th, which I think is a Thursday at 4 o'clock to get that approved as well.
Okay.
And then, Jonathan, did you want to kind of go through what this all entails for the stormwater atlases?
Going off of memory, the Stormwater Atlas update, throughout the town, there are various areas, and this would be predominantly newer developments since the last Atlas update, which I believe was 2012. Is that date approximately correct? So these gaps were identified on an exhibit in this document, and there's also some size verifications that need to be collected as well. The storm sewer lines are in the atlas, but not the sizes. So some of the details of that would typically be on a storm atlas would need to be filled out on that as well. And so that's the dominant portions of what the stormwater GIS portion would entail. And a lot of this is for being in compliance with the IDEM, with the MS4 requirements. They do want to see outfalls identified, storm sewer sizes, all structures. They like to see them all have a unique numbering system so they can be found in the field if needed, if there's a problem. And, for example, such as a leak into the storm system, you'd want to be able to track and identify where it's coming from. And it's good to have reference points such as structure numbers.
So the one thing is that the town of St. John already does subscribe, and we do have our ArcGIS subscription. So that did save us a little bit of money, even though we pay for it. So we do pay for it up front, but it's not being charged in addition to this. So the total amount for this task order portion for the stormwater GIS Atlas is $38,000, which I think is probably the higher of the three, only because I think it has the least amount of data. So that's probably why. And they are going to be taking a look at using existing GIS and existing GIS as completed maps.
As-built.
As-built?
Yeah, as-built.
Yeah, the as-built. They're going to be using those as putting all of this information in there. It's going to be trying to piece the stuff that we can't find together. So
Okay.
that's going to be the challenging portion of it. But the total amount is, in the task order, is not to exceed the 38,000.
I have a question for Jonathan. Does that include the outfalls as well?
It should include the outfalls. An outfall, in case you're wondering what an outfall is, it may seem obvious, but the IDEM has certain definitions of what is an outfall. But common thought for an outfall would be like a detention pond outfall. But sometimes if you have a grouping of ponds, it would be, say, the water course that several are discharging into. That water course itself would be an outfall, and it might be near the border of the town or at the incorporated limits or something, would be an outfall location. And then only if you would discover a problem, you would search upstream into the individual detention ponds. So that's where it would be important that they're on an atlas, so.
Correct, and I know that I spoke with Susan from your firm, and that was one of the things we wanted to get done. So as long as the outfalls are included, I think it's great.
Yeah,
So
great.
we'll need in order to move forward on this, this is for a favorable recommendation to the council. This isn't the Stormwater Board's approval of this. It's a favorable recommendation to the council for this. So
Okay.
that would be the motion that you would entertain.
And it looks like a tentative schedule is about 6 months to gather the information and provide some.
Well, good. I
So
hope they
rather-
wait. I hope they wait 6 months for payment too. We ain't got no money. Just saying.
Well, great question, Bob.
Stormwater, I mean. Yeah.
Who's supposed to pay, Joe?
It would come out of the stormwater fees. We do have some funds set aside annually for stormwater projects in, I forget what budget that is. My brain fell asleep, but it's like 150K we got in there. What is that? Is that under sanitary, I think? There's stormwater projects. I think there was 150K set aside for something in that. It might have been Cume Sewer. There you go. I'm like, I knew it was somewhere. It's in Cume Sewer. It's been a long day, guys, sorry.
Yes, it has.
And, yeah, so there's a little, yeah, but that's not in a separate fund. That's the problem. Yeah, that's in that tricky general fund where everything ends up and then it's lost. No,
Well, I
general
know.
fund is just that, is
Favorable
general.
motion, is that what you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I think this is definitely a necessity to have completed, so Bob can have everything at his fingertips and know where things are and things are located. It seems like we have some pieces of the puzzle that are missing, and I think this is a great opportunity to put everything together. So, thank you. Is there anything else, Joe, that you have? I think.
Not on this task order.
Okay. I think you covered that good. What is the
I'd-
thought of the board?
I think I'd like to make a favorable motion. Is that what you needed, Joe, from us?
Motion for a favorable recommendation to the council.
Motion to favor recommendation to the council that we accept this.
Okay, and I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Very good. There's that. All right, is there any other reports and correspondences or anything in addition from Robinson Engineering? John?
The only thing to report is that I realize the Plan Commission is working on some ordinance changes to the subdivision control ordinance in regard to MS4 again, which seems to fit in this board, at least initial. So there'll be some changes to the ordinance that are required for MS4. We are working with Bob staff on that, Susan and Bob. So they have asked me to bring attention to that, that needs to be pursued. So we didn't want to make all these changes all at once on top of what Plan Commission's already working on. And it's just to make you aware that going forward, this will probably appear again before this board. So,
Oh, good. That was my next question, is will we be able to see some of these, or at least have some bulleted points that we can?
yeah, we have a draft already done.
Okay.
It's going through QA, but that should be ready soon.
Very good. Okay, is there anything else?
No, that is all.
All right, John, thank you. Moving on, Joe, Town Manager, any additional comments?
Yeah, just a couple things. So as if you recall, on the September meeting, we had a group from Weston Ridge come in and discuss their concerns about the ravine that's been there for, since that development was there, and the erosion issues that are out there. I went out with Bob Valois one day, and then I went out again today to the other location. While I do see some erosion concerns that need to be addressed, the bigger question is who's responsible for it. The property is owned by the Weston Ridge Property Owners Association. It's not owned by the town. We don't have any right to access the property, that kind of thing. So there's that concern. The other concern is, that one of the residents who I spoke with 45 minutes yesterday about there was concern that, that these homes are compromised and whatnot, and I saw no evidence of that. In fact, I met with a couple residents out there. They love it out there. It's a beautiful, area. I don't see where there's any compromise of any foundations, where there's erosion back, to certain areas. There is erosion at the very bottom of that ravine, but I think that needs to be addressed. And then obviously they need to clean it up because it's just overgrown and it doesn't look very pleasant. So if I was living there, I would not like that so much. But again, it comes down to who's responsible to do that. So that's just one thing I want to make you all aware of. I know that one of the concerns was the adjacent property owner to the north there has a drain that is like 9 feet, drop. So when there's a heavy rain incident, there's more erosion going on, and it's like a Niagara Falls, I'm sure. I'm sure it's very pretty. But also kind of, not good. So that needs to be addressed somehow, some way. And I think maybe having discussion with the Property Owners Association and that neighbor to the north, and then what the town could do with the water that's being fed into that from our stormwater system. So maybe we can provide some kind of relief for that erosion or slow that process down. So something that we need to keep on our radar, and something we need to, be looking at just going forward. So I wanted to bring that to your attention and keep that on our radar, because obviously we don't want a room full of more people and nothing's done. We want to make sure that we.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you giving status on that, because I was going to bring that up tonight too.
Oh, okay, good.
So that worked out well.
Did she call you for 45 minutes?
No.
Okay.
I just
She's a nice lady. I'm
I
not
actually
saying it's
remember.
just- she's very passionate about it, and she's complaining not for herself, but for her
The residents,
residents.
yeah.
And I listened to her complaint. Obviously, there was, some other personal stuff, but I'm not going to get into that. But, I took the time to go back out there to look at this specific area. As I said, Bob and I went and looked at the north end. This is more on the south end of that, so.
One question, and not to interrupt you, Joe.
No, go ahead.
If I recall right, was there a discussion that there was a crushed culvert or something that was brought up? I thought the one gentleman had said that, and I wasn't sure if you.
The areas that we checked out, that we were able to check out, because it is very overgrown out there, I didn't see a crushed culvert.
Okay.
We did see a lot of erosion out there, but I walked everything I could, and I didn't. If there is, they can call back, I'll meet them out there, they can show
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
And like I said, there was erosion on the south end of that, but it's not to where it's compromising,
Go home, it's farther.
you know, structures and stuff like that. So, at least from the area where she was explaining to me. And then like I said, I even met one of the guys out there, and he said 15 years ago, there was a problem with one of the deck pillars that, and Schilling came back out, repaired the issue, and that was the end of that. It's a very awkward setup, because it's not like you have a straight plateau area. It's literally carved down into the ravine, and the houses are built into the side of this ravine. So it's just a very interesting development. I mean, it's really cool. Me, myself, if I was the developer, I had to put a little boardwalk out there in the back so you don't have to maintain the backyard, because I asked him, I said, they got to push mow this, don't they? He goes, yep. I was like, wow, that really
Yeah,
stinks.
that's not easy.
Yeah. So, and that was on the 108th place, is where I think I was over there, yeah, 108th place. I walked down through the majority of that area there.
Okay.
This
Did
is
you look
back
at
on
the
where that green
detention
line is
pond
on the
outlet
north.
at all, Bob?
No, you're going too far.
I couldn't
To the
get
left.
back there
Couldn't get in
at
there.
the time.
Keep going, down a little bit.
Down right there,
Okay, keep
too.
going.
That's what I
It's-
thought.
It's all overgrown.
It is, it's really overgrown. They've got, you know, vegetation that is not really native, and they honestly probably should put some kind of wetland kind of plantings to help stop the erosion and stuff like that. And I don't know what the resources of the homeowners association is. I'm sure they don't have, you know, $500,000 to go make it look pretty,
Right.
you know.
Well, I'm glad that, you know, we're on top of it. We took a look at some things,
Yeah.
and
I went out the following morning and ran into one of the residents that was here, and so, yeah, we're on it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Good, appreciate that.
And I will respond back to her tomorrow and let them know that I did give you guys an update, just so
Okay.
I can keep her in the loop on stuff.
Sure, very good.
The next item I have is and you have it in your packet, is a quote from BMO Harris for the sewer vac truck. So this is for the lease purchase. Now, keep in mind, I got this as a quote, so that way we could use this for the purposes of kind of budgeting things. This is anticipating a delivery date of November of this year, which isn't going to happen. The last that Bob Davis talked, it was June of next year. So I recommended to the clerk treasurer and to Bob Davis that we explore getting an updated quote from the vendor, which they gave us a pretty decent quote, but also get an update from the state of Indiana, where that's who I got this from. You submit the application, they send you the quote, and that kind of thing. So we do that in April, with action by the respective boards in May, anticipating a June delivery. Now, if we're not firm within 60 to 90 days of that delivery date, then, you know, we're going to have to adjust that schedule, because if it's July, then we'll have to move it back a month or whatever, or up, it just depends.
Sure.
So Bob's got to keep his eye on the ball with that one, just so we don't, you know, have to have an emergency meeting to approve a, you know, lease purchase agreement.
Right.
But this is just to kind of give you the numbers, and they're about right where we figured. This would anticipate no payment up front, and then a 5-year repayment.
Okay.
And that way, we're not exhausting any resources from water, sanitary, or storm.
Very good. Just one comment with this delay in delivery. Is there any concerns with the existing equipment?
Oh, yeah, there's always concerns with that.
I know it's
She-
hard to predict.
Old
but-
faithful will hold her own, she'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that, Bob, that can-do attitude.
That's good to hear.
I mean, if push came to shove and we absolutely had to have a truck, I'm sure we'd have to probably rent one.
Well, we have one, and
Or-
it's okay, but if it went down, we've asked other towns, Cherville's used ours, we've used theirs, so
Yeah,
we'd find one.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right, so this is
That's
just
all
more
I have.
informational?
Yep.
Okay. Joe, thank you. Okay, reports and correspondences, town council liaison?
Nothing, sir.
All right. Well, thank you. At least you were asked.
Bob, one final thing.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. One final thing. I don't know if we're going to have any additional business for next month or December. I don't know if you guys want to have a meeting, in, November, December, or if you want to just forego those meetings. I don't know. That's your call. But if you guys do, if we don't have anything that's pressing, I would just, forego the meeting. Because I think we did most of the heavy lifting earlier this year.
Yeah, and honestly, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would say
It'd
that,
be just having a meeting to have a meeting.
right.
Okay.
And I would say that if something, yes, does come up, then by
Yeah.
all means, let's meet. Initially, my thought was probably December, we wouldn't even have one just because of the holidays and everything, but I am okay with, not having anything next month or December, and then.
Yeah, I mean, unless something comes up that needs action, then, we'll cancel the meeting.
Okay.
Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to just have a meeting. It's not like we have to approve any bills at this point, that kind of thing, so.
Right. Do we need to vote on that or bring it up
No.
as a motion? Okay.
We'll just,
For discussion.
if push comes to shove, we'll cancel the meeting for November if there's no action, and then if there's no action in December, we'll cancel that one too.
Okay.
So this may be the last meeting of the year, guys.
All right.
So happy holidays.
Yeah.
You know what? It's going
But
to
I'll
be
see
here
you,
before
I'll
we
see you
know
on the
it.
27th regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else at this moment? All right, very good. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second, and the meeting is adjourned at 6:23.